You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast network.
You're listening to DolphinsTalk.com daily, the most listened to daily Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet. Come on, Dolphins fans. Time to fins up.
Miami's got the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. Hey, what do you say, Miami?
Good evening, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you tonight? And thank you for listening to DolphinsTalk.com daily on this Wednesday, September the 15th. I'm your host, Mike, joined as always by Biggie, Ian Berger. Ian, how you doing today?
What is up, Mike? We are talking about the AFC East leading Miami Dolphins tonight, right?
Yeah, absolutely we are, and we're going to get all right to it. First off, a big shout out to everyone at finheaven.com. Everyone be sure to go to finheaven.com, the largest Miami Dolphins message board on the internet. And also, this podcast is brought to you by BetUS. I probably should have said that at the top. So everyone go to BetUS. We'll talk more about them later. And also a big shout out to everyone at the I Am a Miami Dolphins Fan Facebook group. If you're watching this on Facebook, be sure to share this video, spread it around. We want as much interaction as possible. So if you're watching this live, share it around. And also to our friends on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, especially at the Dolphins Talk YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. It's Wednesday night, September the 15th, and we have to say it. Happy birthday to Dan Marino. Today's his birthday, turns the big 60. He is Miami Dolphins royalty. Anytime you see him, you should genuflect because he is Miami Dolphins royalty. So big shout out, happy birthday to Dan Marino, as well as Jesse Davis. His birthday is today as well. And before we get into the news, for those of you who might not have heard or seen, check out every morning, roughly 9 a.m., MiamiDolphins.com, the Morning Blitz. I am now writing that article for the Miami Dolphins on MiamiDolphins.com. So check out the Morning Blitz every day on MiamiDolphins.com.
Yeah, and definitely, too, the other thing, Mike, I wanted to mention was I wanted to wish everyone who is celebrating Yom Kippur to have an easy fast, because we fast from sunset this evening to sunset tomorrow evening. So no eating or drinking for 24 hours. So I hope everything goes easy. They have an easy fast. And one last thing, too, in case my parents are watching, they share their wedding anniversary with Dan Marino's birthday. I don't know if they planned it that way. I don't know if he planned it that way, but they are at 49 years. So mom and dad, if you're watching, happy anniversary.
That's awesome. 49 years. Wow. Now, next year's a big year. So you got to give him a really nice gift for 50 years.
Big year. Absolutely.
Year. All right. So let's get into the news. Let's start off with some good. Will Fuller is back. He's expected to play and start this Sunday for the Miami Dolphins when they play the Bills. So he is back at practice, full participant, and Will Fuller will be on the field this week at wide receiver, just to give the Miami Dolphins another weapon and another tool for Tua Tagovailoa to sort of play with there on this offense. So Will Fuller is back. The suspension is officially over. Now with the bad news, early in the game on Sunday, Raekwon Davis, the second-year defensive tackle for the Dolphins, he hurt his knee, and he was placed on IR on Tuesday, and that means he's out at least 3 weeks minimum, and it could be longer. Because when Brian Flores was asked about this on Wednesday, he said he doesn't like to talk about timelines. He doesn't like to discuss players' medical issues. And we know from last year with Preston Williams, everyone thought, oh, he'll just be out a few weeks and he'll be back. He never came back. So anyone who says they know Raekwon is either A, out for the year, they don't know. Or if they say, oh, he's just going to be back after like a month, they don't know either. Because this is going to be something that head coach Brian Flores is asked literally every day at his press conference. And literally every day at his press conference, he won't answer the question, which he doesn't have to, but he will be asked. And so he'll come back, and it'll be a surprise to everybody because, honestly, nobody knows. And they're going to keep this very tight-lipped, as they should. I mean, they don't have to share. But there's a chance, I guess, that Raekwon Davis played his final game this year. I hope that's not the case, but there's a chance that's possible. Ian.
Yeah, you're right. And as you mentioned with the situation with Preston last year, we found out this offseason that he ended up having surgery on his ankle, and that was very hush hush. It was never discussed. No one said anything. And that's the thing right now is we don't know what's happening with Raekwon. We don't know the seriousness of it. Now, something happened during the game. It looked like he was given his helmet back. If necessary, it appeared like he was going to jump back into the game if it was absolutely necessary, but they kept him out. So for me, when you see that, I don't know, I'm looking at that kind of from a positive standpoint, that maybe we're looking at the shorter end of the timetable for him to be out versus, a longer time period. That's what we're hoping for. That happened the first drive of the game, man. It's like, how can this happen? We were lucky, fortunate during the preseason, during training camp, for nothing really significant to happen. And then the first drive of the first game, it was a little crazy. So I think we're all sending prayers his way so that he heals quickly, and hopefully he'll be back on the field soon enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And in his place now, it'll be a much larger role for John Jenkins, who will step up and most likely be the starting nose tackle. So John Jenkins has a lot more on his plate, and we'll see how that goes there with him in a larger role. In other news, tight end Adam Shaheen was removed from the COVID list today, so he is back. But he was also limited in practice because of a knee injury. But he's back on the 53-man roster, so that's good news there. And also limited in practice on Wednesday was Andrew Van Ginkel, who has a little bit of a back issue. And, of course, Preston Williams still sort of rehabbing that foot issue. So Shaheen is off the COVID list. That's good. Austin Jackson, who was removed from the COVID list last Saturday, he's back as well. Obviously, he was back for the game, but he only played 3 snaps on special teams. He really didn't play left tackle. When Brian Flores was asked on Monday about his left tackle spot and what's going on, he goes, Austin Jackson's my left tackle.
Yep.
Now, we'll see how this plays out in time, because here's what I saw on Sunday against the Patriots. Liam Eichenberg looked damn good at left tackle. And I don't know if we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'll say this. Austin Jackson's leash just got a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter, I should say, because Liam Eichenberg did more than enough and showed himself as a quality left tackle against the Patriots. So if Austin Jackson is back at left tackle this week, as if you want to take head coach Brian Flores at his word, that means a right tackle, you'll have either Liam Eichenberg or Jesse Davis. Jesse Davis played very well last week too, and one of these guys is going to be sitting on the bench, and I don't know which one's going to be, and we probably won't know until Sunday at kickoff.
No, and I think the interesting thing, and I think perception says a lot, but what did they give up? 1 sack, I believe, and a bunch of hurries. And I was looking at the Tennessee Titans game where they had one defender who had 6 sacks, if I remember correctly.
Chandler Jones had 5.
Right, Chandler Jones had 5 sacks. So for everyone who said that our offensive line didn't do well, yeah, we would have liked for Tua to get more time, but I think they did good enough under the circumstances that they had, where they had a starter who was out. So this weekend, though, it's another tough defense. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about that, but I rewatched the first 2.5 quarters of the game, and I was trying to pay attention to the offensive line, and they didn't do too bad, to be honest with you. They didn't do great because they didn't open up enough running lanes, and when things needed to happen, it wasn't perfect, but I think they did okay. And Tua, to his credit too, he gave them some credit after the game and said they did good. They weren't great, and he gave them some positive words. But I think, when I look back at that game, they did good enough, right? And I think that was kind of the theme that we talked about last season as well.
Yeah, and we could sort of move into the recap of that game. I think when it comes to that game, and I think what you said is right, and I think that's why a lot of fans are a little bit frustrated. It was like watching that game was like watching the 2020 Miami Dolphins. It was the same issues they had in 2020, stopping the run, consistent pass rush, offensive line was the quarterback was, good, but the same issues from 2020 were there week 1 in 2021. It seems like, I don't know. That game seemed very similar to watching a game from last year, which they won, gritted it out. They won mainly because of the defense, but a lot of aside from wide receiver, because that's clearly better. Yes. Outside of that, a lot of the issues that were there in 2020, at least for 1 week, appear to be there in 2021. And I think that's why even after a win, some fans were just kind of like, is what it is. But like you said, it wasn't the prettiest win ever, but they did enough to win a game on the road against a division rival, and you never apologize for that. You take that win. They forced 4 fumbles. They recovered 2 of them. Tua had a typical Tua-type day, 16 for 27, 202 yards, ran for a touchdown, passed for a touchdown, bad interception. It was good. It was good, but, it's not great, but it was good. And Waddle and Parker showed up. And, Parker, when he's healthy, he is a big-time weapon. And we saw Waddle make a few plays, and he's going to be a big-time weapon the more he gets the balls in his hand. So there's, some good there to build off of, no doubt. And, on the other side of the ball, they were fantastic on defense once again. I mean, they are every week. Mac Jones, he didn't play bad, but he just had to check down the entire game. He really had no opportunity to throw down the field, and that is a credit to guys like Howard and Jones and a lot of guys in the secondary that he would just had to take what was there and throw at, linebackers and safeties and just check down the entire game. So the Miami Dolphins on defense, to me, was outstanding. And on offense, it was kind of like watching the 2020 Miami Dolphins offense.
Yeah, I will tell you that I was on the edge of my seat for the entire second half of that game because and it was very similar to watching last year. And I'm careful with the criticism for Tua because I think, again, he did just enough. He was good enough. He wasn't great, but he wasn't horrible. He was good enough to get us that win, right? Those 2 drives, especially at the beginning of the game, the first drive that the Dolphins had, and then the drive right after halftime, he was on. I think that first drive, he was 4 for 4. He was hitting everything, but everything in between wasn't really that spectacular. And the thing was, the goal or the hope with a lot of Miami Dolphins fans was once they got rid of Shane Gailey, the new offensive co-coordinators were going to encourage Tua to throw more down the field, where he ended up only having 2 passes that were close to 30 yards in attempt, right? But I think too, this weekend, there's going to come a different opportunity for Tua. And I think it's going to be an opportunity he's going to have to take because you're going to have Fuller, who's going to be able to streak down the field. You're going to have Waddle, who, if he wants, he can cut underneath, or he can also streak down the field. But we want to see some of those passes being attempted at least, right? Where they're, a 30 or 40 yard pass down the field that can really change the momentum for the game. Now, of course, too, I like to say that Brian Flores was playing chess with Bill Belichick, because I think what Brian Flores was doing was he was trying to predict what Bill Belichick was predicting the Dolphins were going to do. And he was trying to counter that, right? So I think at the end, of course, there was a little luck and skill with Xavier Howard punching that ball out at the end. But I think Flores did enough to get the win. And I give a lot of credit to the coaching staff because I think they wanted to walk out of Foxborough week 1 against an unknown, right? Because the Patriots getting all their defensive players back, these new offensive players, the co-tight ends, and Mac Jones, who you hadn't seen as an NFL quarterback yet. You wanted to see all of that because you hadn't been able to see that just yet. So they got an opportunity to do that. And thank goodness we got that win, because I think had we lost that game this week, it would have been a lot tougher for a lot of people, especially when it comes to social media. So instead now you've got 3 other teams in the AFC East who have all lost a game, and the Dolphins are up by 1 full game. And I know we're going to talk about this one, but man, if we can win this coming weekend, things are going to be pretty looking good for the Dolphins right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with this game, again, when it comes to the quarterback Tua, on passes that were 9 yards or less, he was 13 of 14. That's outstanding.
Yep.
On passes that were 20 yards or more, he was 2 of 4 for 66 yards. That's good as well.
That's respectable too.
It was the passes between 9 and 20, or I think it was like 1 for 9. So that's where, the red flag is. And part of the reason Miami doesn't dial up those passes because they don't have the offensive line who can hold blocks that long. That's just the truth. They don't. Yeah. They don't, because it's not the wide receivers this year. They got the guys who can get downfield. They just don't have an offensive line that can hold a block that long. And it is what it is. That's the hand that they're playing with. That's the offensive line they put together. But
I want to add one thing before we move on too, Mike. I do want to give a lot of credit to Mac Jones, because the Dolphins were creating pressure coming from different angles. They were blitzing. It felt like they were blitzing like either every other down or every 3 downs. And he was very good at recognizing those blitzes and getting the ball out of his hands very quickly, which was very Tom Brady-esque if you think about it. That's the thing about Tom Brady. You can never touch him because he gets the ball out of his hands so fast. And I saw Mac Jones doing that for most of the day on Sunday, and I was worried because if your defensive players can't get to him fast enough, you just need to hope that he's going to make a mistake eventually. So fortunately, the mistakes didn't come from him, but the mistakes came from the running backs and not being able to protect the ball. But I think he looked good. He looked very, very good. And what I think is going to be the test for, it's going to tell a story, I think, is when the Patriots play the Jets this weekend, right? If their defense is really stingy against the Jets and their offense has an amazing game against the Jets, I think that's going to tell you how good of a team we have, because we were able to hold them, to only 16 points, and we were able to score those 17 points on what I think is a really, really tough defense.
When it comes to Mac Jones, I think for week 1, he looked good, but again, he checked down a lot. Teams now have tape on that, and he'll start this week against the Jets. They're going to take that away. They're going to say, you got to beat us down the field. And I don't know if the Patriots got wide receivers to throw the ball down the field. And I don't know if Mac Jones, because when he got pressure on him, he folded like a cheap suit at times. So Mac Jones, I know there's a lot of praise on him, even in a loss. And he did look good. I'm not going to take that away from him. But now there's one full game on him where every team can sort of watch that tape. And they're going to take away the checkdowns. And, for them, he's going to have to throw it down the field and push the ball down the field to have success in the upcoming weeks. But that's their problem, not ours. I don't care about them. Absolutely. So just for the Dolphins, it's that now for all teams in the NFL, not just the Dolphins, you make the biggest improvement from week 1 to week 2, because after week 1, there's always big time overreactions. Every team that lost thinks they're the worst team in the world. Oh my God, we're terrible. Every team that won thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. Oh my God, we're great. And the truth is always somewhere in the middle. So even though the Bills last week struggled, they're going to come back and be very motivated, and they have extreme confidence against the Dolphins, as they should. In Miami, they lost somebody on their line, obviously, and Raekwon Davis. That's going to, change things. And there's going to the team we see, especially out of Miami this week, I know is going to look very much different than the team we saw last week versus the Patriots, because that's how every team is in the NFL, especially between weeks 1 and 2. So I wouldn't, there's some negatives which we sort of brought up in this podcast from the week 1 game, even in a win. Some of those are going to be fixed. I guarantee it, because most teams can make, the simple fixes from week 1 to week 2. Now, there might be some more long-term issues like an offensive line that can't be fixed, or it is what it is. But we will see big changes from week 1 to week 2. And I think on offense, we're going to see more explosive plays, even if they don't come from big passes. There's going to be more explosive plays, I think, this upcoming week at home.
Or attempts at least, too, right? At least just seeing the attempts of pushing it down the field a little bit more. But I agree. I think,
and you got to get the tight end involved, too.
Absolutely, yeah. Gesicki not having any receptions, it was a little strange, but that could have been part of the game plan, right? That could have been part
I don't know.
of it.
Not getting him any's not part of the game plan. I mean, they are.
He did get one attempt, I remember, and
he got one at the end of the game, was called back. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting this week, and we're going to talk about all that stuff. But first, it's that time in the show, Ian.
Love this time of the show, Mike.
Our friends at Manscaped are the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, and they want to make sure you use the right tools for the job. That's why everyone should use Manscaped when it comes time for all their grooming needs. Everyone go to manscaped.com and use the promo code DolphinsTalk to save 20% in your order and get free shipping. That's right, free shipping to all over the world. They ship to Canada, Singapore, Australia, our friends in the UK, the United Kingdom, wave that Union Jack, and all over the world. So free shipping to everyone. Try out such great products as the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, the Shed Travel Bag, the Crop Reviver, and the Crop Preserver. 2 million men worldwide trust them. So join the Manscaped movement with our exclusive offer by using the promo code DolphinsTalk to save 20% on your order and get free shipping.
Your balls will thank you, as
That's
Jeff
right.
Harris says.
Also, life is back on sports bettors, and BetUS has your Major League Baseball, UFC, PGA, college football, and yes, NFL betting lines up for their 27th year of live sports betting. Log on to betus.com or call 1-800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BET-US. And use the promo code DolphinsTalk to have a 125% sign-on bonus. Or if you're paying by crypto, use the promo code DolphinsTalk200 and get a 200% sign-on bonus. Customer service pros are ready to get your phone, social, and online sports betting kicked off right now. Play with the proven mainstay in the industry, BetUS. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. And for those of you who haven't been paying attention to our YouTube channel, Tom and myself do the Gambling Corner each and every Friday night. And it's up on YouTube all Friday and early into Saturday. Ian, in college football, for the whole year, college and pro, right now, I am 8-1 against the spread.
Wow.
8-1 against the spread. And I have made a lot. I made a lot of money last week because I bet the game. I'm not just doing this show and not putting my money where my mouth is. I go to the casino here I have locally, and I put down the bets on my picks. I am 8-1 against the spread. I think Tom is 6-3, so he's doing very good too. He's just a few games behind me. But last week I was, here they are right here, 3-0 in the NFL with Philadelphia +3 outright winner, Carolina -4, Rams -7.5, 3-0 there. College, South Carolina -2.5, boom, that's a win. Purdue -34.5, boom, that's a win. My only loss came on Boston College. My only loss of the year is I was 3-0 last week. 8-1 against the spread. BetUS, make money with us. Get that money. Use the promo code DolphinsTalk. Save and get 125% sign-on bonus when you use BetUS. And folks, it's easy money. And if you want to listen to my picks, Friday night, it's on our YouTube channel, and it's on up there all day Saturday and Sunday as well. Make money with us. Come on.
And it's free to hear your advice too, right,
Yeah,
Mike? 'Cause I know there are
it's
these
free.
800
Absolutely.
calls.
No, there's no 800 numbers. There's no $75 per call where I talk your ear off and tell you a bunch of nonsense and wait till the end to give you a pick. No. We go on there 15 minutes. There's no, well, we do joke around, but we joke around in a fun way, but the picks are very serious. So we have a few laughs. We have a lot of fun. But when it comes time for the picks, I am 100% serious, and so is Tom. We give out serious picks with real hardcore analysis that you should listen to. We might have a few laughs around all that because why not? But yeah,
You're probably talking about balls and manscaped.
No. We just
all right.
we sort of slip into sort of seedy gambling type characters. Let's say, hey, how you doing? Here's our pick for the week. That type of thing. All right. So Ian, we got a couple mailbag questions, and
you love the mailbag.
We love
video.
the mailbag. So
let's
get to the mailbag.
Here comes
The Dolphins Talk.
Mailbag, got your email, faxes, and your notes. Here comes
The Dolphins Talk.
Mailbag, gonna read some for all you folks.
All right. Our first question is from Joe in Sarasota, Florida, and sort of piggyback on the Mac Jones question, or topic we just spoke about. Mac Jones received a lot of praise in his loss last week versus the Miami Dolphins. Do you think he outplayed Tua last week? I'll say the answer. I don't know if he outplayed Tua, and I honestly don't care. I went on a Boston radio station on Monday after the game. They asked me this. I go, he might have outplayed him, but they lost the game. So does it really matter? You want to take credit for outplaying the other quarterback? Go for it. I'll take the win. So, and I don't know if he really outplayed him. I think they were both good. I don't know if either one was great. So if some people might think he outplayed him, great, but they still lost. So who cares?
Yeah, and I'd piggyback to that. Statistically, Mac Jones had a better day statistically than Tua, right? He threw for, I think, 130 more yards than Tua threw, if I remember reading the stats right. But at the end of the day, does it really matter? I think again, as I mentioned, I think Mac will have a good career based on what I've seen. The only thing that's going to hold him back is the talent at wide receivers right now. I don't think they're very, very talented in New England. A lot of these guys, I think besides Jacoby Myers, it might be hard to name the next two wide receivers in New England. So it might be some time to build them up. But I think he's going to have a good career in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to be great, if he's going to be Tom Brady great, but I think there were some encouraging signs. And again, Tua did good enough. Statistically, Tua was not as good as Mac Jones, but like you said, it doesn't matter. We won.
Yeah, and that's what they sort of asked me on this radio station in Boston. They're like, well, what do you think of Mac Jones on moving forward? Are you guys afraid of the Patriots? I'm like, No, I mean not yet. I mean one game. I go, and I told them, I go, I don't think he's going to be awful, but I don't know if he's great. And and I don't think fans of opposing teams when they see the Patriots schedule like, oh my God, we got to play Mac Jones this week. No, I mean nobody's there yet. So yeah, I mean he played well. I mean, but I don't know if he outplayed. I don't even know what
The
that
interesting thing though, Mike, and as you mentioned this too, this is a perfect. There was a meme that came out today that had a picture of Tua being tackled by a Patriots defender, and it said, "Can Tua and the Dolphins rebound from this 1-0 start?" Because the national media, has made it sound like or make it feel like, the Dolphins lost that game when in fact they are leading the AFC East right now. So, and I think that's the way the national media always is with the Dolphins, and they're going to continue that way. I think until we have a 50-3 game or 50-17 game.
Well, there's two parts to it. Number one, I think fans of Dolphins are way too sensitive to this stuff. I mean, it's gone overboard. They're way too sensitive. That's number one. Number two, until Tua starts having big games, that's just the narrative, and that is what it is. And I know some fans don't like to hear that. That's just the reality. He's got to play big games and look good in big games. Otherwise, that's not going to stop. That's number one. And two, Dolphins fans can't be. They gotta let some stuff slide off your back. You can't. I
don't know if we're sensitive. I think we're just tired of it because it just feels
you can be tired of it, but
all the time.
I know, but that's the thing. But that's the thing. It's not going to stop. So if you're tired of it, just let it go. Don't overreact to every little thing. It's not that big a deal. That's just me. Whatever. Next question from Alan Tallahassee. The Dolphins ran the Wildcat a few times on Sunday. Do you think we see more of that the rest of the season, or is it a one-time thing? I mean, it's not going to be like it was in 08, where that's like a big part of the offense. I don't think it's that. But for a team that, struggles to run the ball consistently, the times they line up in the Wildcat, it worked. So I think having some snaps go straight to Malcolm Brown or Salvin Ahmed like that, I think it's just another unique way to get yards on the ground. So, no, it's not going to be a full-time thing like it was in 08 with Ronnie and Ricky. It's not that because it's just not. But I think we could see, once or twice a game to pick up a yard or two. Absolutely.
I think it was awesome that it was done against the Patriots in Foxborough, because I had memories of 2008 watching that game. And I remember I was alone in my bedroom because I think at that point of the season, the Dolphins were either 1-3 or
0-2, I think.
Whatever it was, we were having a really tough start to the season. And I just remember making a lot of noise and I was so happy. And then seeing it come out for, this special occasion against the Patriots again in Foxborough, it was fun to watch. But like you said, Mike, I don't know if they're going to use it frequently. It might be one of those things where when they need it for the type of defense that they're playing against, they may bring it out again. And I think that's what's going to lead to the decision to do that. And the other thing too, and I know we haven't talked about it yet, but those 3rd and shorts with Jacoby Brissett coming in and taking those quarterback sneaks, I love that too, because it's something different that the defense hasn't prepared for. And now that he's done it, now he shows it on tape. He may go in there with a 3rd and short, and he might actually throw the ball instead of running.
That's what they have to do because every time they run him out there, if it's just going to be a sneak in a week or two, they're going to line up.
They're going to figure it out. Yeah,
and he's going to get walloped one, and so they can't just have him sneak every time. One of these weeks, it doesn't have to be this week, obviously, but one of these weeks they have to fake the run, step back and throw a pass. Otherwise, teams are just going to tee off on this guy, and he's going to get hit hard and probably hit hard in the head, and that's not good. So, yeah, I like it. I don't like it when they left him out there and tried to be cute with it, and let's see if we can use timeout and we have a false start. I think that's just overthinking it. If you're going to send him out there to run a sneak, send him out there to run a sneak. Don't get cute about it. It's nothing fancy, smash mouth. He's going to sneak because he's a big boy, and you can just get that yard if you need it. But he does have to throw it one of these weeks. Otherwise, teams are just going to see it. And, it's,
Or the Dolphins can say we're going to keep doing it until somebody can stop us. Because remember, who was our 3rd down specialist a couple of years ago? Lusaka Polite. You knew when he came in, he was going to run that ball. And guess what? Defenses couldn't stop him. Yeah. So maybe that's the thinking of the Dolphins. But I'm sure, we'll find out in a couple of days if Dolphins want to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get to this week's game. Dolphins versus Bills, Hard Rock Stadium. Ian, I know you want to talk a little bit here about the parking situation for those fans who will be in attendance, who will be heading to Hard Rock Stadium. Go ahead. I know you got some things to share.
Well, yeah. And first of all, let me tell you how excited I am that football is back at Hard Rock Stadium, and Dolphins fans are going to be blowing the roof off of that place. I think it's going to be a huge contingency of Miami Dolphins fans, because I think you've got folks that have been waiting for 2 years to be there to root on the Dolphins. So that's exciting. Now, the downside is the parking situation, because as many people know, the Dolphins are building the F1 racing track around Hard Rock Stadium. And by doing that, it has changed the parking situation. The number of parking spots have been reduced. They've been shifted around a little bit, but the biggest change, and this is, I think, going to cause some problems, especially this coming Sunday, is there are no longer cash lots at the stadium. So either you have a parking pass in one of the colored parking areas, or you don't. And if you don't, you're not going to be able to get into the main parking areas. There are some complementary parking areas that are about 0.8 miles away. I think Calder Racetrack also has parking available, but you have to reserve those. You have to go online to the Hard Rock Stadium parking area, and you have to reserve a spot, or else you're not going to have a spot there. So people need to be prepared. And I think what's going to happen on Sunday, because we've had some challenges the last couple of years on the first game of the season, not this past season, but the season prior, because people don't know the rules. So they're going to drive up thinking they can pay for parking, and they can't. Now they're going to need to figure out how to make a U-turn after having a long conversation with the person, trying to check tickets out and stuff. So just be prepared for that. If you usually get to the games at around 11:30, you might want to get there at 10:45 instead, just to prepare for whatever the parking situation is going to be. And I say that too, because even at preseason, remember preseason, we only had about 35,000 fans. There was a line to get into parking, even with only 30 to 35,000 fans, because some things are different. So just want to be prepared. Just want to prepare all the Dolphins fans that are planning on attending, because it's different. It's very different this season.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions at all, you can go to hardrockstadium.com, the official website of Hard Rock Stadium, and you can also go to MiamiDolphins.com. All the answers will be up there, and I know on Friday's article I'm writing for MiamiDolphins.com, the Blitz on Friday, I'm going to have all this information out there as well, to sort of spread the word, help spread the word, because this is a big deal for fans, in the past who maybe didn't go to a game in 2020 and their last game was 2019, where you could pay for a lot of things with cash. Now, once you're inside the stadium, everything's cashless. You got to have a card, Apple Pay, Google Pay, all that stuff. So for all those questions and stuff, hardrockstadium.com website, MiamiDolphins.com website. And if you really don't know where to look, or if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to Ian on Twitter or myself, and we will do our best to get you the information and answers that you need. So, Bills game this Sunday, big game. Miami's 1-0. Bills are 0-1. If the Dolphins can find a way to win this game, it's only week 2, I know, but to go up 2 full games on the Bills and have one win over them too, which means at worst you're going to split with them this year, that would be gigantic. Now, the Bills last week, when I didn't see the whole game. I saw, I'd say, most of the game against Pittsburgh. 2 things jumped off the page to me. First off, Pittsburgh's really, really good on defense. Like, really, really good. And I can see why the Bills didn't score a lot of points, because Pittsburgh was flying all over the field. Mika Fitzpatrick, they were just fantastic, Pittsburgh on defense, so credit to them. But the Bills struggled on offense as well. Josh Allen looked, that was worse than gas station sushi. He did not have his best game. He did not have his best game at all. So I expect the Bills to be, more prepared and probably look more crisp this week. Again, week 1 to week 2 jump for all teams is drastic. So I think we're going to see the best of the Bills. And like I said, the Bills are going to come in very confident. As they should. I think they beat Miami 5 times in a row, and most of those games haven't really been close. On the other hand, the Dolphins, that week 17 game last year stings with a lot of fans of the Dolphins, not because they just lost and they didn't get in the playoffs. So that's the big overwhelming factor, that it seems like they didn't put up much of a fight. And I know for some fans that goes, yeah, but we don't have this guy. Yeah, but all the yeah buts in the world, they still got their butts kicked. So I would think and I would hope Miami comes to this game with a little bit of chip on their shoulder, a little bit of like, okay, let's, now it's payback time. Ian, what are your just overall big picture thoughts before we get down to some of the matchups and X and O's and stuff?
So this is going to be a very challenging game for the Miami Dolphins. But with that being said, last weekend's game was a very challenging game for the Miami Dolphins. And I did also watch parts of the Bills versus Steelers game, and even some of the Bills fans said Josh Allen's performance last weekend reminded of them of the first 2 years of Josh Allen, where he really, he wasn't accurate with his passes. He was being chaotic in the, in the backfield. The running game was pretty much non-existent. So I think a lot of that had to do with, as you mentioned, the defense of the Steelers, and they didn't, from what I read, they did not blitz very often. It was really a 4-man front for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, who is their top linebacker that just got re-signed?
Watt.
TJ Watt. He was all over, the offensive lineman, and he was getting to Josh Allen. So I think that the Dolphins are going to need to find something similar to what the Pittsburgh Steelers did. And I say, listen, if you can be the copycat now, knowing how the Pittsburgh Steelers beat them last week, be the copycat, figure it out. Right. And I know that they held Stephon Diggs to, I think, a small number of catches and yards. And I know that because I've got him on a couple of my fantasy football leagues, and I was really disappointed in that. But this week I'll be happy if he gets 0 receptions. I don't need any points in my fantasy league this week for him, I swear. But I think I haven't talked any trash about the Bills this week because this is a tough one, but it's a big one, right? And for it being the second week of the season and us having such a huge game already, I think that speaks volumes, because I think too, it's not an automatic loss for the Dolphins. I think it's something where the Dolphins can, if they play a good enough game, Tua's got some of these tools back. He's got some of these weapons that he needs. He starts pushing it down the field. I think anything's possible, because our defense, we got a stellar defense. Now we do need to get that pass rush to happen a little more, even though, Agba got to Mac last week a little bit. He really was mostly untouched for most of that game. And the one thing that worries me the most with Allen is his ability to run out of the pocket. Mac Jones, you didn't have to worry about him running out of the pocket too much. But Allen, last time he played us, actually the last couple times he played us, he'd run for 15 yards, 20 yards, 25 yards, because all the defenders would be down the field and he'd have all this open room to run. So that's my biggest concern out of anything coming up this weekend.
Yeah, that's one of my 3 keys to the game. Number 1 was, don't let Josh Allen run around and extend plays. Because when Josh Allen can run around the pocket, extend plays, I don't care how good Howard is, I don't care how good Jones is, they cannot cover wide receivers for that long. And Josh Allen has the ability to extend plays to let his receivers get open. And I think the Dolphins have to put a spy on Allen, just a guy, just follow him around the entire game, because that's where he's dangerous. When he goes back in the pocket and just sort of moves around, extends plays, let guys, just, run themselves open, essentially. And that's number 1. Number 2, the Patriots had the ball for 13 more minutes than the Miami Dolphins last week. That cannot happen again. The Miami Dolphins have to control, or at least be even with time of possession.
Yep.
And that means they have to run the ball more in offense. I know that's not a strength. That's why a lot of fans in the offseason were clamoring for running backs and clamoring for more offensive linemen. But it is what it is. But they have to be at least even time of possession. They cannot leave their defense on the field, especially this week where it's going to be scorching hot down there. Scorching hot. And I think it's supposed to rain as well, so it's going to be humid probably.
Humid. Yeah, and just so you know, I was driving home at 4 o'clock this afternoon, 91 degrees still at 4 o'clock. So hopefully it is hot as heck out there.
They cannot leave that side of the ball on the field that long. They just can't. They have to be at least even time of possession, like I said. And the other thing is the thing that we all sort of, I think fans of the Dolphins, even his most ardent supporters know, even if they don't want to admit it, Tua has to win this game. Number 5 overall pick in the draft, year 2. In this league, to beat very good teams like the Bills are a very good team, if not an elite team, you need your star quarterback to outplay their star quarterback. Period. End of story. We need Tua to have a day. He's got to, this is a game where Tua can plant his flag and outplay Josh Allen and drag the Miami Dolphins to a win. Because in this league, if for teams that, go far in the playoffs, their starting quarterbacks usually drag them there, whether it's Mahomes, Rodgers, Breeze, all those guys, Tom Brady. The quarterbacks outplay the other quarterback, and that's what we're going to need, moving forward here with Tua. This is one of those games where he really needs to do that. I think he can. I think he has the talent to do it. It's just outside the game against Arizona last year, we really haven't seen that moment again. And this would be a good week to have another moment like that. It would be a great week to have another moment like that. So those are the three things I think, don't let Josh Allen beat you all by himself. Get time of possession somewhat balanced. And, Tua's got to be Tua, Alabama Tua, number 5 overall pick Tua, tank for Tua, the guy everyone wanted. He's got to be that guy for them to beat a team like the Bills. Otherwise, it's going to be another Bills probably drubbing, unfortunately, and nobody wants to see that.
I will tell you, I love the quote that came out of the press conference today when Tua was asked about Dan Marino, and obviously today with it being his birthday. And he said, quote, the best advice that Dan Marino gave him was pick a guy and let it fly. And I think this could be a game where if he places the ball in the right spot, I think that it can definitely work and we can get some big plays. That's really what we all want to see. That's what the Dolphins fans want to see. That's, not just to shut the critics up, but just to show the other teams that this is the kind of player that Tua can be.
Well, that's how you win in this league.
Exactly.
That's how you win. You got to have a superstar quarterback. There's no team that does not have. You might get teams with okay quarterbacks. They don't really win Super Bowls anymore. They don't. You got to have Pat Mahomes. You got to have Tom Brady. You got to have Ian Berger. You got to have not Ian Berger. What did I just say? You got to have the superstar quarterbacks. Who lead your teams to victories, and that's why I think fans want to see it. That's what they're hoping for, and this is a big opportunity for him at home. You can't say he has no wide receivers. Now he's got them all. We got Waddle, Will Fuller, Parker, Wilson. He's got pretty much all of them. He's got a healthy group of tight ends, and let's let it fly. Let's see what's out there, and I guess that leads us to our final part of the show, which we started last week. Once again, as I said last week, all due respect to Lee Corso, I'm ripping this off from him. I will make my big prediction here at the end of the week, and now you'll put the headgear on, or this week I'll jump through a folding table if I pick the Bills. We'll see what I say. But Ian, it's time. It's time.
It's now time for Mike's Fearless Prediction.
Fearless, huh?
Fearless prediction, because I am fearless. So this week, 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox Hard Rock Stadium, your announcers are Brandon Gowden and Matt Millen. Have no idea who Brandon Gowden is, but he'll be doing the play-by-play for this week's game between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. That's right, Miami versus Buffalo. Buffalo, New York, where the men are men and the sheep are scared. This is going to be a game between, what I think, the top two teams in the AFC East. And here's all I got to say for the Dolphins. If not now, when? If you can't beat the Buffalo Bills at home in September, when are you ever going to beat them? You've lost to them 5 times in a row. Law averages say one of these times you got to beat them. And if you're not going to beat them at home in September, I find it hard to believe you're going to beat them on the road later in the year. So the Miami Dolphins, I think one of these times they're going to catch the Bills on a bad day. And I have a feeling this might be it. I don't know, though, because the Bills, there is the flip side of that. Some teams just have the opponent's number no matter what. And they just, anytime they see the uniforms on the opposite side of the field, oh, we got these guys. It don't matter who's in the uniform. Some teams just have the other team's number. Now, what I saw out of Miami last week was very similar to the 2020 Dolphins. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Once again, that's just week 1. And when it comes to playing the Bills have had a lot of success in recent years against the Dolphins. So what's going to happen here? I think the Bills, even though they're 0-1, are going to come into this game flying high because they know this is Miami. We got Miami. We always got Miami. And then you got the Dolphins, who I hope have a gigantic chip on their shoulder looking for revenge. And when it's all said and done, will it be the Dolphins or will it be the Bills? And Ian, this game, I predict, because I can never show my face again if I ever predict the stinky Buffalo Bills, I predict the Miami Dolphins with a 24-21 victory. I think Tua leads a last-minute touchdown drives in the final minutes of the game, and the Dolphins win 24-21, and Bills fans won't be jumping through tables. They're going to be jumping off the roof of their house on Sunday evening because, oh my God, their beloved Bills, the Bills Mafia, are going to be 0-2.
0-2, yeah.
They're going to be 0-2 come Sunday, and the Dolphins will still be in sole possession of first place. As I always say, the city of Buffalo makes Foxborough look like a think tank. Buffalo, New York, where the downtown greeting says, hey, man, can I get $2? It's a dump. The Dolphins are going to go in there at Hard Rock Stadium and send the Bills back to Buffalo 0-2. That is Mike's Week 2 fearless prediction.
I love it, man. I love it. So I am going to go ahead and say we're going to be at Hard Rock Stadium. It's going to be 95 degrees out on the field. That place is going to be loud. You know, and I don't know if you heard this rumor, but I heard a rumor that Josh Allen doesn't play good with crowd noise. Remember last season, there was no crowd noise. He had a great season, almost an MVP year. This year there's crowd noise. And I'm kidding with that, but I think this is it. I think it's time for the Miami Dolphins to show not just the fans of the Dolphins, but the rest of the league and national media pundits that we are for real. That this third season of Brian Flores as coach is really coming to fruition. And I mean, just thinking about the possibility of the Dolphins starting this year 2-0, the way that they could potentially start it against two divisional rivals, it just makes me feel so stinking good. So my prediction, Mike, I think it's going to be a little closer. I think it's about as close as you. I think you said within 3 points, right?
24-21.
I'm saying 27-24. That's my prediction, man. Go Fins.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it really, and it comes down to Tua. We can sit here and we can talk about pass rush, offensive line holding blocks for so long, wide receivers getting yards after catches. We can, you can break down all the ins and outs, the X's and O's, and it comes down, your quarterback's got to make plays. Your quarterback has to make big plays in big moments. It's time to take the training wheels off this kid. It's time to stop treating him with mittens and handling him with mittens. It's time for him to just go out there and ball out and beat another team, a playoff team who was in the AFC Championship game last year, who everyone universally, a lot of experts have been picking him, picking the Bills to the Super Bowl. Let's go out there and beat them at home. You're at home. If this game was up there in Buffalo, it'd be different. It's at home opener. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be hot. I hope the Bills pack their Gatorade because they're gonna need it. And let's flip the script from last year. Last year, Miami started off 0-2 in these same two games. Week 1 at the Patriots, lost. Week 2 at home against the Bills, lost. Flip the script. It's time to flip the script, go 2-0 this year, get off to a fast start, and then take off from there because that's what this team needs. We'll see. I hope I'm right. I hope you're right. I hope we're all right.
so interesting comment that came into the chat just a few moments ago.
Sorry.
That one, even though Cap's very good with his comments. This was about the weather. Hope you're right, but it will be raining. So I'm waiting for the national media folks to say that Tua doesn't play well in the rain. So that should be, I'm looking forward to that article to be coming out on Friday from one of those same national pundit who said Tua couldn't play with crowd noise. So,
I know it is what it is, but so that's the fearless prediction here for this week's game. As we sort of wrap up the show here.
Can I talk about this guy for a second?
Absolutely. Oh, that's right. Because ain't this the week?
This is the week, my friend. I've actually been in contact with Gunny Michael Morris. He's coming down. He's flying down Friday night, and then he's heading home on Monday morning. And he's coming out to the tailgate. So I wanted to just let everybody know if you're in or around the tailgate area, we're going to be between East 12 and East 22. It's parking row 209. That's where a lot of the Dolphins fans, a lot of the folks that you see on TV sometimes, a lot of those mega fans are kind of hanging out over in that area. So we're going to be there. A lot of people have already said they're going to stop by, but this guy, I'm so excited to see him. We were chatting today. So, not only did we get Steve I think his name is Steve DePhillips, and I apologize if I mispronounce his name, who donated his 2 Dolphins tickets that are like 40-yard line on the Bill side, donated his tickets to him today. And we were talking about how crazy it has been with the parking. The parking passes have been going for over $100 each.
That's crazy.
And someone actually donated their yellow parking pass to this gentleman, this Marine. So he's going to be down here. And then another person was like, hey, listen, can you send me his information? I want to send him a couple bucks so that he can buy some souvenirs when he's down here in Miami. So Michael is going to have an amazing time. This is going to be his first ever football game to go to see the Dolphins live. And it's all, and he texted me today. He's like, man, this is all because you took my cutout. And he's like, this is just amazing. And I said, well, you know what? You deserve it. 13 years in the military. This is a great opportunity for you. Don't know when you'll have that opportunity again, but I really hope you enjoy it. So it's exciting. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for this weekend, man. I don't know when the last time I've been so excited for a home opener, really.
Yeah, this is going to be a good game. It's going to be a lot of fun, and everyone, pack the house, be loud, and let's hope we come away here with another victory, because we are due to beat this team. We owe this team one big time, and would be a nice week to do it. Really would be. So, everyone, be sure to check out the website, DolphinsTalk.com, for all this latest news, rumors, and information about the Miami Dolphins. Check out DolphinsTalk.com. Follow Ian Berger on Twitter at Ian693_, and check out his YouTube page, Big E Miami Dolphins. And congratulations to Ian on winning the WWE Championship last night. Big E, congratulations. Or on
two nights ago. Please get it right.
Yes, congratulations. You were great there in the ring celebrating with the new day. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Dolphins Talk. And again, check out the Blitz every morning at MiamiDolphins.com. I'm running that article. And also be sure to subscribe to the DolphinsTalk.com YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. And once again, Friday night, Tom and myself will be on there giving our hot picks. And folks, 8-1 against the spread. 8-1. Numbers don't lie. This stuff's all archived. It's all on video. I ain't making it up. Go on there, listen to our picks, and make some money with us. And, of course, make that money at BetUS. Promo code DolphinsTalk, 125% sign-on bonus. Come on, guys. Let's go. I'm trying to think of anything else. I think that's it. So, thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll talk to you again after a while.
Fins up, everybody. Take care.